Happy Sunday. It's a different time of the day, but it's time for turn down service. I thought that I would hop on here and I have some notes here. But my name is Joy. I am writer of Undiscovered It Girl. I'm just getting the vibes right really quickly. Normally, turn down service is something we do on Sundays as kind of a actual practice of consistency and to create community in the spirit of beauty, like I like to say. We normally go through our skincare routine, but it was just in my spirit to hop on here a little early today. We're not doing this in the evening, we're doing this midday and practice the embrace of change. Because even with consistency, sometimes things change and we have to learn how to flow. We got to learn how to flow with it. So that's what we're doing today. And I'm going to switch it up too and actually do a little hair with you. You guys have seen my skincare routine for almost a whole year at this point. Um, but we're going to go through some hair. We're going to go through some hair today. And yeah, I have some notes here, some things on my mind that I want to share. Hopefully, my little setup here is going to do what we need it to do. So, and just real quickly, let me just give a little preface while I do this. Um, so I have a keratin treatment. My hair is pretty much natural. Um, it's actually growing out. That keratin treatment is growing out right now. And I do my own hair all the time, pretty most of the time, every week. You can see that the roots right here are a little puffy. So I've already washed it. I use Sacred shampoo, hydrating shampoo, and conditioner. And I went ahead and blew it out and kind of pressed out the roots yesterday. On this side, because it takes a while. So on this side, you see that I have already curled and pin curled my hair. So that is what I'm going to finish it up so you can see the process and how I do that while we chat a little bit about life and all those good things. So I was sharing last week. I'm using this iron too. I know that I got it off the TikTok shop. This one actually it can be like a cool flat iron. But I like to use it hot. My hair needs kind of all the heat that it can get. And I don't tend to put much heat on my hair throughout the week. Like this will be one of the only times that I actually put heat on it before I wash it again. So I was saying that last weekend, I wasn't feeling um really my best. Um, Again, just embracing change, the time change, the temperature change, the season change. And this week really wasn't too bad. Again, we talk about beauty as a form of ritual and beauty is not a one-dimensional thing for me. But I really got into yoga, started a new book. I started Asada, her autobiography and memoir. Um, and also we got to Pat McGrath, the great mother, Pat McGrath. She um actually got Woman of the Year for Glamour magazine. And just yesterday, just Outcast was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I don't know, it's just been a beautiful week of seeing people kinda get their flowers, people who have been putting in the work, who are consistent in their craft and creativity. I'm trying to do this here I don't normally do this on camera, so just bear with me just a little bit. So I'm curling each one and then I'm going to pin curl it so that I can kinda have a set. So anyway, and so it was a pleasant week. It wasn't bad. Uh I was really feeling the energy. Again, just doing a lot of restorative things. Yoga is definitely that for me. I actually had a really good convo with my mom yesterday. You guys know that I have been talking about taking submissions um, with the prompts. What did mom teach you about beauty? And over the past year or so, I've shared a lot about my relationship with my mom. We've had our ups and downs for sure. Um, but yesterday was a really, really pleasant conversation with her. And I'm reading my little notes here. You know, I've just really figured that I want to start using turn down service as an opportunity, kind of moving forward and until we experience change again, to share more of those lessons, what my mom has taught me um, about beauty. So, I mentioned that fall is a time to kind of embrace change. In the yoga class, one of the yoga classes that I took this week, she was saying, and I'm going to get back to what my mom has shared with me about beauty, but she shared that in traditional Chinese medicine, that fall is the time is actually associated with the element of metal. Metal is hard and it's cold and kind of stiff and can be stagnant. But the way to get metal to move, hold on, y'all. The parting for this is actually really important too. So you can see that I'm trying to, hold on a second. I'm just going to grab another clip. Small, clean parts are the key to this. You almost want to kind of do rolls like you are going to do a roller set. See how I'm parting them clean, straight here and straight down the middle. You don't want big, huge sections. And even though I've even pressed my hair out, I'm kind of going back over and just hitting the root, okay, of each one, which when you have natural hair, you know that it's going to kind of puff back up. But that's why I personally like curls with this because you just get a big natural. It doesn't matter so much that the roots need to be super duper straight. So, anyway, getting back to what I was saying, fall, the metal element, um, and how we need heat, just like we need heat for these roots. We need heat for things to move, and to get things flowing again. And I just thought that was a beautiful metaphor for this life and what I'm showing you here and what I'm going to continue to share with you about beauty. So, um, as a master cosmetologist, um, I know a little bit about everything, when it comes to beauty. Hair was not something that I took up I did not care for doing people's hair. That just wasn't my gift. More of my career was kind of in the makeup field. But I know enough. I have enough knowledge to kind of get me through with times like these. And I know that when it comes to beauty and just like where things are in the world right now, people's finances, these good government jobs that people have had, there's a lot of people that are struggling. There's nothing wrong with being in the midst of the struggle right now. We're all feeling it. We're all feeling the effects of it. And that's why community is even more important. And so beauty is one of the first things that can go. It's considered a luxury. I'm going to show you a better example of how I pen in just a minute. Okay. But beauty is one of the first things to go. So that's why it was really on my heart to kind of share this about hair. Because I know for me, again, just having that knowledge as a cosmetologist, that's something that I can always share with you guys. I did my piece on how to build an it girl. I was talking about how to find that signature hairstyle. In a perfect world right now, I would totally be sitting in somebody's chair, letting them do this and relaxing and just enjoying community in a different way. But again, this is something that I can share with you guys just so, it's a cost that you can save if it's something that you want to learn to do yourself. And again, still keep your morale up, still keep feeling like yourself. Even though it's one of the first things people cut out, it's one of the ways that we tend to feel most like ourselves, like our expression, that we're able to present ourselves the way that we want to. See that clean part? hmm So, yeah, just wanted to share something a little different. Even with the skincare, I've had a couple friends this week. Again, I was also in community and chatting with friends. Um, share with me, I have helped them kind of find their own skincare routines, simple skincare routines, just like I share with you guys. I have been able to recommend products for them. And so, again, that consistency, even if we're not able to kind of indulge in our treatments, like spa treatments, facials, all that type of stuff, being consistent with your skincare, with your hair care, are ways to, again, keep your morale up and just keep the beauty consistent in your life. Don't feel self care is important, it is an investment. So things don't feel so devastating if you're going through such a hard time. Hitting the root. I'm also hitting the root because this is the more chemically treated part of my hair. This can hold more heat. So you don't see me kind of going all the way down with the shaft. I am controlling how much heat I'm still putting into my hair. I don't want to damage or cause any heat damage to it at all. But quiet is kept. Going back to what mom taught me about beauty, my grandmother was coming to me a lot this week. She was really trying to say, "Hey, what's up?" I never met my grandmother in person, and I may have shared that. Um, her spirit is definitely present and with me. Has been speaking to me, and my grandmother was a hairstylist, and I am one of few. Actually, just one other cousin of mine that has gone into the beauty industry. Everybody else went into education. And, I think about how the salon, again, is and salons and barbershops are those places where we've always had community and kind of like an oasis, you know? We've been able to go in there, restore ourselves, vent if we need to, get advice, get recipes, exchange, you know. And I said this when I started Turn Down Service, that I actually really wanted this to be kind of like a virtual community where we kind of did the same thing. So shouts out to my grandma for kind of putting this in my spirit. And yeah, we gonna manifest this. So again, if these tips help you, if this resonates in any type of way, please, 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 please let me know. Was my grandma right? Was my granny right? I need y'all to let me know. So anywho, um my mom, we're talking about mothers. My mom's experience with her mother. She shared with me that, she learned a lot from her mother just by her doing things. It wasn't always her sitting down with her and giving her careful step by step directions. A lot of what my mom learned, she learned by doing, by watching my grandmother. And the same, I can definitely say that that is exactly what my mom did with me. She didn't give me again these careful kind of like step by step directions. I'm not sure how many of us got that in my ideal and perfect world. Somebody would sit me down, kind of like I'm doing with y'all, and give me these careful step by step directions. But I see now my mom didn't get that, and that's not what I got either. That's not a jab. It's just an interesting connection between the two of us. These grays are coarse, so you can see um, where they kind of stick out a little bit more. The comb is also important. I'm using a really fine tooth, hard comb here. That's probably my favorite comb. I think it's the ceramic comb. But yeah, she learned so much by doing. And yesterday, while we were chatting, um, she shared something really intimate with me that I really, really appreciated. She was sharing how she always wanted to be a mother. And, you know, that myself, my brother who has passed, and myself were the reasons and her motivation, for doing almost everything that she had done in her life. When I started the piece of What Did Mom Teach You About Beauty, I started off by sharing that my mom really wasn't, she didn't display all the things that I wanted to do in life, you know? Um, and that wasn't a jab, that was just my personal truth. So when she was sharing this yesterday with me about, all the sacrifices, her going through divorce, her going through everything, when she first shared that with me, my first thought was being really sad for her, kind of almost pitying her experience because I thought, wow, I'm sure that this experience, her experience of motherhood, did not go anything like she imagined it would. But the more I listened to her, the more I thought to myself, that's her experience, you know? And how beautiful is it that she, regardless, and she also said, that every sacrifice that she made, she would do it again. Now, motherhood isn't particularly something that I have always desired for myself, but I think it's beautiful that that is what she wanted. And she made every sacrifice necessary to get that for herself, even if it didn't turn out like her ideal. So, who was I to criticize that? Who am I to not want that for her? She sees that as successful and beautiful. So I didn't share with her what I was thinking in that moment, and I'm glad that she and I have gotten to the point in our conversations, um, that we hold a little more space for each other to have our own individual experiences and not just assume that the way I feel is the way she needs to feel and vice versa. Um, so afterwards, I thanked her. Um, I let her share it. She mentioned that she basically doesn't always feel like she has an outlet to be transparent, and that sometimes, we can really be pouring our hearts out and people barely acknowledge things. It also makes me think back to, again, seeing Outkast and Pat McGrath this week and how much it did for my spirit to see them both. I mean, these are like my heroes. To see them get those flowers and to see them get that acknowledgement, because so often we don't. And it's not about the validation, but again, just being in community, knowing that the sacrifices that we've made, they matter. They do matter. So, as someone who is a creative, again, even just in a small space like this, like Andre talked about during his speech, starting in small rooms, this is a small room. And I am just know, that I am so grateful for each and every one of you who participate, whether you say anything, whether no matter what. I appreciate your energy so much. Like that's the heat. Like your energy is the heat needed in this season to keep things flowing and keep things moving. And I just hope and pray for myself and for y'all that we can continue to be, a part of that acknowledgement of our sacrifices. I want y'all to know that I do see you. I commend you. I support you. It's not always easy. I think about how many times Andre was misunderstood and talked about, and even someone like Big Boy, and the group Outcasts. You know, Andre gets so much acknowledgement because, I was sorry about that. But Andre gets so much acknowledgement in the group. Um, that Big Boy, he may not feel that way, but sometimes I feel like he gets a little lost in the sauce. And Andre is such a attractive person for multiple reasons. Hence all that I talk about was just it girl and it guy culture in general. It is about how to harness that attraction and cultivate that attraction. And it takes so much more, than just our natural physicality. It's an energy thing, you know. Those of us again who are creatives, who are life learners, we really cultivate this thing. And I don't know, I'm just rambling a little bit now, but I'm just so happy for them. Happy to see them both, again, those sacrifices to just become everything that God would have us to be. It's a beautiful thing. So I think, yeah, that is full circle. That is what my mom is teaching me about beauty in present time. Just by doing, just by being herself, you know. I may not want the same motherhood, that she wanted for her life, but her sacrifices have allowed me to be free enough to choose and to just be here for this experience. I know somewhere in the grand scheme of things, I chose her to be my mother. And so I'm grateful to just continue to heal our relationship and wanted to make sure that I share share all of it, you know? I spent a lot of time and it was very necessary honoring my experience um, with her. Maybe that's something she didn't get to do with her mother. Again, the good and the bad. But she didn't have her mother as long as I have had her. And she has done everything to make sure that she can be around. So ultimately, again, just super duper grateful. So I hope getting down to the last curls here. I'm making these just a little bit bigger. Then I made these here on the side just because I kind of like almost a little swoop look here. And notice how I keep turning the wand so that it gets nice and smooth. And again, it kind of re-smooths with the heat, the roots from that natural pop up there. Hot. But yeah, I would really like to know and affirm if this is what my granny wanted. So y'all let me know. Um, you want that virtual salon feeling, you know. Sometimes we spend so much time online, dirty, so much time on social media, just watching other people that we can forget to actually interact and engage. Okay. So everything's all pink curls. I actually like to spray it with a little hairspray. This is an anti-humidity spray. Amika, I love Amika products. This is the touchable hold spray. And that's it. I'm gonna put my little bonnet on and I will not take it down until it's fresh and ready to go, until I got something I need to do, which I am gonna go get my toes done today. So anyway, I hope that this, you know, for me, my mama, and my granny, I hope that this has been a moment to connect and a moment to be introspective about moms teaching us about beauty, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. I hope it's been an opportunity to learn by doing. I hope that everybody, my mama is literally texting me right now. So everybody's enjoying the new vibration. Everybody's embracing change, flowing with it, allowing, you know, and adding a little heat, adding a little heat, smoothing things out, you know. So God bless everybody. God willing, I will be right back here next week. Could be back at 4:30. We'll see. We'll see what the spirit says. So um enjoy your day and I will see y'all soon. Bye.